Bears fans are absolutely buzzing right now after that fantastic preseason victory this weekend. The energy around Chicago is amazing, and today we have an exciting update regarding our defensive line. A former practice squad defensive end fighting for a roster spot just shocked everyone with an absolute monster performance. Our head coach heavily praised his relentless effort and leaner physique. This amazing breakout game changes the entire depth chart. Watch until the end, like, and subscribe to our channel. Jamri Chroma recorded 6 tackles, 2 sacks, and 3 tackles for loss in a 34-10 preseason victory over the Cleveland Browns, effectively putting himself on the map during Saturday's action. My perspective on this kid shifted immediately while watching him dominate the trenches. After spending 2 seasons grinding on the practice squad, Chroma entered this game fighting for his professional life. Yet, he walked off the field as the clear standout. I saw him move with a new level of urgency that simply wasn't there before. The centerpiece of his afternoon was undoubtedly the strip sack on the Browns quarterback during a 4th down attempt, followed by his own fumble recovery. And I cannot stress this enough. The physical transformation he underwent this offseason, dropping 20 pounds while packing on lean muscle, is exactly why he looked faster and more explosive than his opposition. Head coach Ben Johnson confirmed what my eyes were seeing, noting that he had observed these flashes of new technique back in spring practices. To hear a coach say, "You could feel his presence every single snap," regarding a player formerly buried on the practice squad, tells me everything I need to know about the internal competition at Halas Hall. Fans are energized because, for once, a player who put in the quiet, solitary work finally reaped the rewards under the bright stadium lights. Is this really just a preseason fluke, or has Chroma truly reached a new plateau in his development? I am left wondering how he will handle the increased pressure of sustained game speed expectations when the defensive rotation tightens up during the regular season. He checked every box in this opener, but will that relentless effort be enough to consistently disrupt offenses when the real games begin and the scouting reports get much tougher? How does a player go from fighting for his job to dominating an entire contest in just one afternoon? For Jamri Chroma, the answer lies in a complete physical overhaul during the quiet months of the offseason. By dropping 20 pounds and replacing that weight with functional explosive muscle, he arrived at camp prepared to compete at a level the coaching staff had only seen in glimpses during spring drills. Here is where it gets interesting, as I think about the sheer discipline required to shed that much mass while sustaining the energy needed for high-intensity trench warfare. His performance was not merely a matter of good fortune or luck against a backup offensive line. It was a testament to his commitment to the new techniques taught by Ben Johnson. The head coach noted that he could feel the pressure on every snap, a sentiment that speaks volumes about how much the organization values that specific brand of relentless activity. Watching the film, I noticed that Chroma effectively combined his improved get-off with an intelligence that allowed him to exploit the smallest gaps. It is worth remembering that he endured 2 long, silent years on the practice squad to earn this specific opportunity. Most players in that position eventually wash out of the league, yet he chose to reinvent himself rather than accept an inevitable exit. I have seen many fringe roster candidates flash in exhibition games, but the combination of technique, physical conditioning, and the specific high-impact plays like that strip sack suggests his trajectory is fundamentally different this time around. Does this performance guarantee a permanent spot on the active roster? I suspect the front office is already weighing how much that newfound versatility helps them against other personnel needs, as his performance clearly set a new standard for internal competition. Moving past the box score itself, it is time to address what this surge truly signifies for the organization. This is where it gets real, because the Bears have needed genuine depth in the pass rush rotation for quite some time now. My assessment is that Chroma has effectively vaulted himself ahead of several veterans who simply lack his current momentum. By shedding 20 pounds and prioritizing that lean muscle mass, he has fundamentally altered his physical profile to better fit the specific high-intensity requirements demanded by the coaching staff. Can he maintain this level of disruption once the speed of the game accelerates during the regular season? That remains the million-dollar question, but his performance against Cleveland provides a legitimate foundation for a permanent roster spot. If he continues to show this level of relentless effort and technical precision, the defensive rotation will inevitably expand to accommodate his snaps. This shift matters because it alleviates the reliance on established starters, allowing for fresher legs during critical late-game drives in the season ahead. From my perspective, seeing a practice squad holdover take such a significant leap is the exact kind of internal growth that bolsters an entire unit. Looking toward the division schedule, having a high-motor threat like this could be the difference maker when facing elite offensive lines that thrive on wearing down opponents. His ability to win one-on-one battles consistently could elevate the team's overall pass rush efficiency and strengthen their pursuit of a playoff seed. It is rare to see a transformation this immediate, yet the results from Saturday suggest he is prepared to handle the intensity of the upcoming grind. I believe the front office now has a much tougher decision to make regarding the final roster count than they did just 48 hours ago. Securing a roster spot often comes down to one singular game where everything clicks, and Jamari Croma could not have picked a better moment to break out. His 6-tackle, 2-sack performance against Cleveland offers the team a high-ceiling option that keeps the rotation fresh and forces opponents to account for a new variable on passing downs. The upside here is fairly simple. A player with his relentless motor and physical conditioning creates a ripple effect, potentially allowing the starting edge rushers to remain effective deep into the fourth quarter. The part fans are not ready for is just how difficult it remains for a former practice squad player to maintain this level of technical precision against starting caliber tackles throughout a grueling 17-game schedule. Critics might argue that a single preseason game against reserves provides a skewed look at a player's true capabilities, and I honestly share some of that skepticism. It is one thing to dominate backup blockers, yet quite another to sustain that exact level of intensity when the game planning gets complex and the competition sharpens. While some analysts are already comparing his physical transformation to veteran stars, I think it is premature to view him as a lock for heavy usage. My honest take here is that Croma has clearly done everything in his power to shift the narrative around his career. But the front office likely wants to see that same snap-to-snap consistency against a tougher opponent before handing him a permanent role. Does this performance justify a major shift in the defensive depth chart? Probably not overnight. However, his performance has earned him the right to be a serious part of the conversation as the final roster cut-down date approaches, forcing leadership to reconsider players who previously felt like safe bets. When you synthesize the game performance with the broader context of the roster construction, the reality becomes clear that Jamari Croma is forcing the organization to reconsider their depth chart priorities. My assessment remains that this 6-tackle, 2-sack outing represents the quintessential example of a fringe player seizing his one shot at stability by maximizing his physical potential. By shedding 20 pounds and prioritizing leaner, more functional muscle, he has signaled a level of professional maturity that often translates well once the real bullets start flying. And this is the part that gets me. The fact that he was the one to recover his own strip sack against the Browns shows an awareness that goes beyond raw athleticism. This development serves as a tangible indicator that the coaching staff has effectively identified and unlocked talent previously buried on the practice squad. If he can maintain this production, the franchise gains a cost-effective, high-motor asset that provides valuable flexibility during the long grind of a regular season schedule. I find myself wondering how the front office weighs his newfound technical discipline